Enterprise security has historically been treated as a purely technical discipline. For decades, the focus has remained on rigid perimeters, cryptography, and network architecture. This diagram shows a traditional enterprise network perimeter. Organizations invest millions into firewalls to keep external threats out. Yet these sophisticated networks are routinely bypassed. Attackers penetrate defenses without writing code because an internal user opens a path from the inside. This failure happens because the traditional model assumes machines are the only variables, leaving the human endpoint entirely out of the equation. True cybersecurity depends on human behavior, cognition, and social interaction. To understand this vulnerability, we have to look at cyberpsychology. Cyberpsychology is the study of how human thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are altered by digital technologies and online environments. Acknowledging this reality requires a shift toward an integrated, socio-technical model. Building a network architecture without a psychological framework leaves an organization's largest and most volatile attack surface completely unguarded. Human behavior is context-dependent. Entering a digital space strips away the social frictions and physical cues governing our actions in the real world. A primary driver of this shift is anonymity within cyberspace, which shields users from immediate physical world judgments. This veil of anonymity directly reduces a person's sense of personal accountability. Psychologists refer to the resulting psychological mechanism as the online disinhibition effect. The online disinhibition effect describes the lowering of psychological restraints when communicating online compared to face-to-face interactions. As this diagram illustrates, when a user's perceived anonymity increases, their accountability and behavioral restraint drop proportionally. They act with far less caution than they would in a physical setting. This poses an immediate danger to network security because users become highly susceptible to oversharing. A user who would fiercely protect corporate documents from a stranger in a coffee shop will often surrender that same data to a web form. In the absence of physical context, online trust is easily manipulated by superficial elements, like website design, corporate branding, and fabricated social proof. The digital environment distorts human risk evaluation. Standard physical world caution does not automatically translate to protecting a digital network. Understanding this behavioral shift reveals exactly how external threats operate. Modern attackers prioritize hacking human psychology over attempting to breach a technical firewall. This practice is known as social engineering. It is the active, targeted manipulation of human decision-making to breach security systems. Social engineering works because human decision-making is frequently irrational and relies heavily on predictable cognitive biases. The first major vulnerability is the overconfidence bias. This is the persistent belief that this won't happen to me, which breeds daily complacency among employees handling secure data. The second vulnerability is the authority bias. Humans are socially conditioned to defer to perceived official sources. This causes users to quickly trust forged emails that appear to come from a CEO or an IT department. The third vulnerability is the urgency effect. By introducing artificial time constraints, an attacker triggers panic. This forces the target into rapid actions that bypass critical thinking. This taxonomy matrix demonstrates how these biases are combined in a real-world phishing attack. Phishing is a fraudulent communication designed to trick a target into revealing sensitive data or deploying malicious software. The fake bank logo at the top triggers the authority bias, creating an immediate illusion of legitimacy. Meanwhile, the text threatening account suspension activates the urgency effect, demanding immediate compliance. A phishing email functions as an engineered psychological weapon, designed to crash human logic before the firewall detects a threat. Scaling up from individual cognitive flaws, we must also examine the collective behavior of the entire network. This introduces cyberculture, the shared norms, values, and practices that emerge organically in digital environments. Users do not inhabit one single internet. They move constantly between distinct digital communities, operating with entirely different rulebooks. Within these spaces, users create digital identities, or avatars, that often act contrary to their real-world corporate responsibilities. Different subcultures dictate entirely different norms for how information is shared and how peers influence one another. Driven by algorithms and the pursuit of virality, these cultures cause malicious links to spread exponentially faster than verified data. Certain isolated subcultures can normalize unethical behavior, effectively turning ordinary users into severe insider threats. An organization's overall threat landscape is highly volatile. It expands and contracts based on the diverse, unseen cybercultures its employees participate in off the clock. Technical solutions alone are structurally insufficient to manage skewed human risk perception. This diagram shows how cybersecurity management must evolve. We must draw a secondary boundary, a socio-technical perimeter that treats human behavior as a foundational architectural component. The first management strategy required for this new perimeter is user awareness training. Continuous training acts as a psychological patch, inoculating users against the authority and urgency biases before an attacker can exploit them. The second required strategy is behavioral monitoring. Administrators must track behavioral baselines to instantly detect the anomalies and reckless actions caused by the online disinhibition effect. The final, overarching strategy is the implementation of psychology-informed policies. Corporate security policies must be explicitly written to acknowledge and mitigate the realities of online cybercultural norms, rather than ignoring them. Ultimately, defending a modern network requires treating human behavior with the exact same technical rigor as a firewall configuration.